Assalamu alaikum students. Today we will continuing our previous chapter, The Earth and its Living World. Open page number 14 of your EVS book. First topic on this page, the atmosphere. The envelope of air around the earth is called the atmosphere, which means our earth is surrounded by the layer of the air all around, which is called atmosphere. As we go higher from the surface of the earth, the air in the atmosphere become rare, which means the air about the surface of the earth become thinner and thinner as we go in the upward direction from the land to the sky. The atmosphere consists of mixture of gases, namely nitrogen, oxygen, water vapors and carbon dioxide. There are some other gases too in the air in very small quantities. As you can see in this chart, other gases are only having 1%, oxygen having 20%, and nitrogen having 79%. The layer of the atmosphere are named as the troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, ionosphere, and exosphere. The layer that extended from the Earth's surface to the height of about 13 kilometers is called the troposphere. The condition in the troposphere changes continuously. They affect the living world to a greater extent, which means all the changes of weather is held in this layer, that is troposphere. The surface of the earth get heated due to the heat is received from the sun. Hence the air nearest the surface is the hottest. As we go higher the troposphere, it becomes cooler, which means the air near the surface of the earth having a cooler temperature layer than the layer than the layer which is of upper side, that is troposphere, having a hotness of the sun. Almost all the water vapors in the atmosphere is contained in the troposphere. That is why all weather related phenomena such as formation of clouds, rain, fogs, winds and storms takes place in the troposphere, which means all the weather condition, that is rain, fog, clouds, winds, storms, takes place in the troposphere. You have to remember this point. The air on the high mountains is rarer than the air near the earth's surface. Aeroplanes fly in the higher part of the troposphere. There the air is very rare, which means the oxygen is rare, or air is having a rare density. Aeroplanes fly in the higher part of the troposphere. Therefore, the arrangement have to be made to ensure that the passenger get enough air for breathing, which means aeroplane having a arrangement for passengers to get enough breathe or enough oxygen. Beyond the troposphere, up to the height of about 50 kilometers from the earth, is the layer that called the stratosphere, which means from the earth's surface to the 13 kilometer up to the 13 kilometer troposphere is present, and from the 13 kilometer to 50 kilometer stratosphere is present. In the lower part of the stratosphere, there is a layer of a gas called ozone. The ozone gas layer is very important for the earth because ultraviolet rays that coming directly from the sun are harmful for living things or any living organism on the earth. But the ozone layer absorbs them and protect the living world from these rays, which means ozone layer protect us from the ultraviolet rays or harmful rays coming from the sun by absorbing it. Next point is the water cycle. How does it rain? Water on the earth evaporates continuously due to the heat of the sun. Evaporate means भाप बनकर उड़ जाना पानी का. Water that have percolate into the soil also evaporate due to the heat and enters the atmosphere, which means the water which is present in the soil or a moisture which is present in the soil or a land that also evaporates due to the heat of the sun. The water cycle. What is the water cycle? As water vapors is lighter than the air, which means density of water vapors is lighter than air. The weight of the water vapors is lesser than the air. It rises high up into the atmosphere, which means the water vapors fly in the sky or goes up in the sky because it having a lighter density. As it goes higher, it cools and condenses, forming very fine droplets of water, which means these lighter water vapors condensed, which means collected or combined into a very fine droplets. The droplets are so small and light that they can float in the atmosphere, forming a cloud, which means these water droplets पानी के बूंद are floating or flying in the atmosphere, जो collectively called as, जो मतलब combine हो जाते हैं and they can form the cloud. These small droplets join together and form bigger drops which are heavy. They all are combined and form a bigger droplet or a bigger drop which is heavier than the air, due to which they cannot float. Such drop of water falls down on the earth in the form of rain, which means the rainfall is happen because the cloud the cloud which having the heavier droplets cannot float over the atmosphere. That's why the water falls down on the earth in the form of rain. Water cycle. This process of evaporation, condensation and rainfall goes on in the continuous cycle, which means first the water get evaporated due to the sun, जो भाप बन के उड़ जाता है in the atmosphere, and the process of droplet to condense into the cloud is called as condensation. And then after condensation, precipitation is done by the rainfall, and the water of the rain get restored in the groundwater or in the lake, and again it continues in the nature. The biosphere. What is biosphere? Here is the question. Here is a activity for you. Make as long a list as you can of all the living things you see in the lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere. This is the activity for you to do at home. There are innumerable kind of living things on the earth, which means there are different types of living things, which includes the animals and plants both. The various regions of the earth differ in many ways. Some regions are always are always covered with ice, while other having a hot climate. There are mountains in some places and plains in other. As you can see in this picture, some places having a plain surface, some having ups and down or hills or mountains, and some having desert region, and on some places there is a ice layer covered the surface. Some places having a lot of rainfall while other are dry or a dry desert. There are salty seas and oceans and also a freshwater lakes. The ocean is shallow near the coast, but away from the coastline, the ocean can be several kilometers deep. We see a great variety in living things that inhabits their different regions. The polar bear is seen only in the snowbound polar region, which means the polar bear is only can survive in a colder or a colder region. Zebras are found in Africa. Kangaroos are found only in Australia. Elephants and lions are found in region of hot climate, which means the lion and elephant cannot survive in the colder or a cooler region, just like the polar bear. These animals are not found in any other region. Plants in plants in all these different regions also show a great variety. This variety is characteristic of those different regions. Biosphere. Many different kinds of plants, animals, and microorganisms are found anywhere on the earth, on land, in water, and in the air, which means a different kind of animals needs a different condition for living, which means the polar bear live in snow, and the lion can live in a hotter region, and camel can live in a desert. Living things exist in the lithosphere, hydrosphere, and atmosphere. They also interact with their spheres. These living world constitutes the biosphere. Here is exercise for you to do at home. That is it for today. Thank you.